Hi guys, PoMMan of the Token Minorities here, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of UU laddering while talking about the upcoming tiering update and the likely drops and rises that are probably going to happen in the tiering update as it occurs. And we get our game pretty quickly. I'm using this Beedrill team. It was made in a team building competition back in March, but the meta's similar enough now as it was then. But I don't mind running it. Don't like my matchup versus Suicide Leads Azelf, so we're going to lead off with Beedrill. So he does choose to go straight off for Azelf, and we're just going to knock off because he's definitely going for Stealth Rock here, and we can 2-hit KO him quite easily, in fact, and in all honesty, it is smarter just to go for a second knockoff. Yeah. Anyway, let's start with potential rises, because there's fewer of them. The most likely rises in the tiers that I pay any sort of attention to are Zapdos rising from UU, which I'm currently playing, to OU. Narrowly getting more than the 3.4% usage required last month, but last month was not a tiering update month, and oh wow, that did more than I thought it would. We're just going to stun Spore. No, we're not. Oh well. When speed tie, go for Ice Shard. Ice Shard is smarter. Yes, Zapdos will potentially be rising from UU to OU, and that's a pretty big deal. Zapdos is a very common Pokemon in UU, and it's one of the best in the tier as well, compressing multiple roles down to a single Pokemon, including Defogger, Hazard Remover, Bulkymon, and he goes for Volt Switch, and that is choice as well, so that's fun. And Icicle Crash gets... doesn't get killed, but unfortunate. So Mammoth Swing comes in. Anyway, Zapdos also offers a check to powerful attackers like, well, Salamence and other powerful threats in the UU metagame, and is not something to be taken very lightly. I'm Life Orb, so I don't mind him going for Ice Shard. And he has, of course, got another form of priority in the form of Lucario, but that is fine because that is a free switch out into my Cavalion, which can then set up a Sword Stance. We are Sword Stance 3 attacks, yeah. Or we could go out into Mensum default, but... oh, okay, he just chooses to let me kill him. Anyway, yeah, Zapdos leaving is pretty huge for the UU metagame. It'll drastically change things, and it will mean Pokemon like Suicune will get better, that specs actually well, and some Pokemon that do enjoy Zapdos' presence, I can't speak, will get worse. That means things like Heliolisk will get better because it doesn't have as much competition for the Volt switching role, and of course things like what particularly benefits from it? I don't know UU that well. Things that benefit from its ability to defog, such as Mega Beedrill, and things that benefit from its strong ability to check things like Gyarados, will get worse. Gyarados will of course get better because things like that. But yeah, Zapdos rising will be a pretty big impact in the UU metagame. And another pretty likely rise is the rise of Amoonguss. Amoonguss is currently residing in RU, where it does have a bit of an impact in the metagame, although less than you might think, and it leaving will be pretty big. Wow, Life Orb Alakazam just destroys this man. It leaving UU will be pretty big, not UU, RU will be pretty big for RU. Obviously it won't affect OU at all because it's already being used in OU. You can use any mon in a lower tier in a higher tier than that mon is in, and you too. And in OU it offers much more value than it does in RU. At least in my opinion, but I do play RU more than a fair amount. And I'm going to go for Focus Blast, trying to get the Spadef drop. Do we? not. Unfortunate. But I feel like he's just going to double back into Cobalion. I mean, that's what I would do in his position. Try and anticipate my Mega Beedrill switching. Nope, okay. Well, without the special attack drop we might have been able to take care of him, but oh well, he's definitely going for the recovery here, so we can go into Mamoswine. We could technically double back into Alakazam, but Earthquaking is smarter, will break any potential Sugar Berry. He's not going out into Zapdos here because this thing's a Mamoswine and it is really hard to switch into. He actually chooses to go out into Gyarados, that's fine by me. We've got Whimsicott, we can just Encore him and we can Stun Spore him. And more importantly than that, perhaps... Okay, he goes for a bounce. Fair enough. Fair enough, indeed. Well, Mamoswine is probably, arguably, the least useful mon. We can just Stealth Rock now, he's pretty much got to bounce again, so... And even if he doesn't... Okay, he chooses Dragon Dance, but we're faster than a lot of... well, we're not faster, but we can do damage to non-adamant Gyarados, and the fact that he bounces means that... Okay. He's going to go for that again against Whimsicott, but we can just Stun Spore him. Well, try to at least. Anyway, I was talking about Amoonguss, so let's pivot back into that. Amoonguss in RU faces a lot of competition. In terms of defensively, Tangrowth tends to be pretty much better, and as... Why are you using goggles? Whatever, he's just going to let me kill off his Zapdos. I'm going to take that, frankly. And I disagree with him thinking that this was worth it for him. Without too much effort. I need to get it safely. Alakazam is very useful indeed. Whimsicott is the only thing keeping that Gyarados from killing me. Salamence is pretty much not useful. As he gets up his rocks. And we can just defog. If he chooses to Ice Beam me, we can go out into our Alakazam. He chooses to Sludge Wave me, that's fine. Draco Plate Boost, Draco Meteor will do a lot. Anyway, Amoonguss is outclassed defensively mostly by Tangrowth. It has better bulk overall, and with the fewer fairies in UU, it doesn't need the poison typing to tank the hits as much. I mean, like, in OU, Tangrowth deals a lot worse with... Fuck off. Tangrowth deals a lot worse with things like Diancie and Mega Gardevoir. Not Mega Gardevoir, but like... yes, you're completely going to use the poison type to deal with Gardevoir. If Lourdes comes in, he can probably Wish Pass in all honesty, but we've got Cobalion, which can come in and click Ironhead, and yeah, it's much more useful in OU than it is in RU, because in RU it's outclassed defensively by Tangrowth mostly, and in OU the extra poison typing comes in handy. And in terms of offensively, well, Tangrowth does outclass it there as well, but on top of that, you've also got things outclassing it like Venusaur and a Virizion in RU, which are better for their own reasons. Sped F drops, Sped F drops, Sped F drop, damn. One more. If he chooses to Moonblast me, we've got a good chance to live, and besides we've got the damage that we probably need. Ah well, we don't know. But we can just go out into Beedrill, Poison Jab you. We're going to lose this game because I've just noticed there's a Cobalion that has taken no damage as he chooses to go into Nidoqueen, and that does nothing either. Going to U-turn. We're going to lose this game though. No point continuing really. Yes, it is outclassed largely in RU, although it does have its niches, like Spore is always good, and its move set, Foul Play allows it to deal with attackers and stuff like that, and the poison chances from Sludge Bomb, which is easy to spam with the stab typing, but overall in OU it is a lot better. Those are the two main rises that are probably going to happen in the upcoming tiering update, which is a full tiering update, so it's not just going to be quick rises and quick drops. But outside of that, there's not really going to be many. Perhaps there's going to be things like floats or moving tiers, but they're less likely, and honestly I don't really know PU well enough to say or comment on what the change there would be. But let's talk about drops now, and there are going to be probably a lot of them, in all honesty. Sylveon moving from OU to UU is one that has been wanted by a lot of players for a long time. He's just going to try and burn me, but we can live one Sacred Fire, which is good. Although we could drop to the burn chance. Sylveon to UU will significantly affect Florges, and Florges will get a lot worse. Sylveon does do most of its niches better. There are some positives for Florges. Do we get burnt? We do get burnt, so he can probably just assume that we're a suicide lead, actually. I don't care. Yes. So that means that we need to do a lot of damage to you. We're going to go out into Alakazam. Alakazam is arguably the least useful thing on this team. He does have a Cresselia, which annoys me, and he has things that outspeed me, and he's got a Pursuit Trapper, so this is probably the least useful just to get damage off on the Entei, especially when I can see my Mega Beedrill winning the game without too much effort as soon as I've weakened the Tentacruel and the physically bulky mons. Anyway, so when Florges gets worse, which it will, objectively, it means that there will be a lot more room for things like, we can just protect here. He doesn't have any hazard removal. He has got hazard removal. He's got a Tentacruel. Do I need to U-turn? I think I do. I mean, he's not staying in. He knows I'm protecting. Yeah. Well, he chooses Chestnuts instead. That's fine. That is bulky. Whimsicott and Moonblast. But regardless of all that I've just said, Sylveon will get worse, and that might actually result in Sylveon dropping to RU, which shakes up RU a fair amount as well. It's a much better fairy than we've got in RU at the moment, and it will be able to perform the Cleric role as well as the bulky Calm Mind setter. I mean, we've got Diancie for the Cleric role, but Florges would be better at it, and Calm Mind, it would be better at it as well due to the fact that it has got instantaneous one-move recovery, and on top of that, it would mean that potentially Aromatisse would move down to NU due to the fact that Florges dropped into it, because all these fairies are largely in their respective tiers because of the fairy in the tier above them being better than them at what they do. So naturally, if that fairy then drops, it stands to reason that more likely than not the following fairies would drop as well. And that just means that it will be a little bit of a power shift, well, in terms of generic better shift is what I'd like to call it, but that doesn't really make much sense, because these things are going to be bulky, they're going to be walls, they're not going to be powerful things that you are going to be particularly sweeping teams with, and things like that, although Specs Sylveon does have no switch-ins in UU. But regardless of that, and I'm saying that a lot and I apologise in this video, Sylveon would introduce pretty much just a better version of Florges in the UU tier. It's not going to be particularly different to what they have, it's just going to be pretty much better at it than Florges is. Although there is an argument that Florges could run the Calm Mind set more effectively due to the instantaneous recovery, but 8 PP synthesis is just not good for me, in my opinion at least. It's not reliable enough, which is why I don't use it as well. But Yes, so Sylveon dropping would also mean that the life of things that enjoy Dark Spam, stuff like Hydreigon, Crawdaunt, and things of that nature, they all get worse as a result. Also, just generally, specially offensive Pokemon will like it a little bit less because it's just another specially defensive Pokemon that can come in, and also it will terrorize bulkier teams. There is a Spec set that can 2-hit KO Mega Aggron, for example, with Specs Hyper Voice, which is insane. That is utterly unbelievable, frankly, but yeah, it's going to be an utter menace. It's just going to be a better version of what UU already has. So, the other OU to UU drop will likely be Conkeldurr. Well, not including the Megas that are likely to drop into the BL tier because they've already been banned from UU, such as Mega Altaria and Mega Alakazam. Smart man, you spiky shielded. You're gonna go into Tangible now. So Conkeldurr dropping into UU will probably have more of an effect on Machamp and RU, because Conkeldurr is... That's annoying. Machamp is pretty much just the entirely inferior version of Conkeldurr, although, of course, No Guard Dynamic Punch is nice. The extra bulk and the better move pool and the better attack stat mean that Conkeldurr is pretty much just all-round better. I'm just going to protect, just to scout, make sure he is in fact going for extreme speed, which he is, of course, but we can go into Cobalion and use this as setup fodder. We are Lum, we are Lum. So we can Swords Dance and then we can Stone Edge. So Machamp dropping into RU would have a lot more of an effect because RU is a much slower metagame than UU is. The speeds that it possesses would be enough to get by pretty comfortably in the RU metagame, and it would be a pretty huge menace to stall teams and Pokemon, not Pokemon, but teams that rely on Mega Steelix and Diancie and things like that. Slower things than it that it can not come in on but threaten out of, and then something's got to take a dynamic punch and then potentially get confused, and it's going to be very good. But Conkeldurr in UU will largely fulfill Machamp's role of just, are you Scarf? You've got to be Stealth Rock on this build. Yeah, I'm calling your bluff. Yeah. Is there a potential for me to lose to extreme speed spam? There is. That's not brilliant. But we've not got a choice here. We've got to go for close combat. We don't exactly have a switch into this thing anyway. You are Scarf! What are you doing? Do you not have Stealth Rock? Are they just seen as like not a necessity for you? Whatever. Going out into Whimsicott. I mean, you're going into your Cresselia here. I know you're going into Cresselia here. Everyone knows you're going into Cresselia here. If you choose to not go into Cresselia here, I'm going to be a little bit annoyed. Yes, Conkeldurr in UU will largely fit more onto Trick Room teams, and teams that are going to make use of its bulk up sets. Life Orb Sheer Force will obviously be a good lure for things like Florges, but its speed will hold it back, just like Machamp is being held back now. It will... You go Cresselia. Cresselia is what I meant, by the way, not Florges. Cresselia I can U-turn on pretty easily. We've got to play this pretty well, though, in order to win, because it's not looking the most likely of things right now. You can just recover here. Then I can Encore and Luna Dance. Oh, that's clever. That's very clever. UU is not my best metagame. Gotta go for the Stun Spore, because otherwise I lose. Isn't that great? Yes. So the things that will make it better than Machamp are the things that already the things that already do make it better than Machamp in OU. Things like having priority Mark Punch, the ability to use Life Orb Sheer Force, as well as having the Gut set, which is pretty good. The Assault Vest Gut set, to be quite clear, making use of its pretty damn solid bulk overall, and things like its coverage moves, Poison Jab, Mark Punch, Drain Punch will be useful, of course. It won't fill the same niche, but it'll just be better than Machamp without trying too hard. As he uses Extreme Speed, the crit did not matter. But we can go into Machamp here. Machamp, Salamence. I'm confusing all of my words. And we can just go for Fire Blast. Thank you very much, Beedrill. Live? Well, that's kind of annoying in all honesty, because that means I've got to try and kill you, and that is pretty difficult from where I'm standing. You're going to go for Poison Jab here, and there's not much I can really do about that. I wish I hadn't made it I wish I hadn't made it Flame Plate, not Flame Plate, Draco Plate. But now Scarf Knockoff wins. Yes. So moving on to the next probable drop, it will probably be Honchkrow moving from UU to RU. There are potential other drops from UU to RU as well, things like Haxorus and Mandibuzz, but if Haxorus drops, it's getting quick banned in approximately 13 seconds, and if Mandibuzz drops, I will be astonished, but it's still technically possible. Honchkrow is looking to be the likely one. It got less than 3.1% usage last month, I believe, as in notably less than, and is generally not as good in UU. It would be a utter menace in RU. We recently banned Sharpedo, just regular Life Orb Sharpedo, for being too good, and that did 50%. Wow, Dino is bulky. You're going into... what are you going into? There's a Mumble Pokemon. Yeah, that's... is that living? Just... And no, you're risking me being adamant, me being jolly, but, I mean, I'm not, but... what's... yeah. Oh well, Alakazam, just Psychic. Honchkrow dropping to RU will have a lot of effects. We recently banned Sharpedo for its pretty damn fantastic special set, sweeping offense without much problem, and honestly, I can say without much hesitation that Honchkrow would also likely be suspect tested. Regardless of the drops, there will be a suspect test in RU after the usage stats come out, so keep your eye out on that. That will be happening, and I can't wait for it personally, but can't really give the details on that until a later date, although I'm definitely looking forward to it. Honchkrow dropping would offer a very powerful mixed attacker. Right now we've got a lot of them, in all honesty, but this would just be a step further than we've already got, and it's pretty damn good as it is now. Knockoff gives me the attack rise, thank you very much. You outspeed me with half your team, and everything that outspeeds me gets hit by Iron Head. I'm wondering if that's even... yeah, that's... that is not Scarf. I just got forced out by my Alakazam for no reason at all. Might be Sash or something, but that would be stupid. She's got into Crobats. This Iron Head will hurt you, but you're Grey Birding me, so that's good. It's not good, but I mean, it's smart of him. Going out to Salamence, to Draco Meteor me, to Draco Meteor him even. And I was talking about Honchkrow in RU. It would offer a very powerful special attacker, but the thing that would set it apart most would be its physical capabilities as well. Brave Bird obviously being damn hard to switch into, and I'm laughing at the notion of switching into Brave Bird with that thing. Fletchinder, the pre-evolution of Talonflame, is considered one of the best Pokemon in the RU beta game. It's very good, it's very effective versus offense, and it is weak as piss compared to the power that Honchkrow would provide. Also, the Sucker Punch offering it really good utility versus offensive teams, and just in general it being... Yeah, you could have, but oh well. In general, it being a lot better. I just want to encore him just so that, yeah. It'll just make it better versus offensive teams than it otherwise would be. If it was just a slow mon that didn't have a way of hitting offensive teams, it would not be broken at all. And for example of that, just look at things like Specs, Exploud and stuff in RU, which have no switch-ins whatsoever, but they're perfectly fine in it. But the fact that it does get Moxie and Sucker Punch, as well as having a very usable special attack stat, things like Heat Wave to hit Mega Steelix, Dark Pulse obviously being fantastic, Brave Bird being good, strong physical coverage for anything that special coverage might not hit, etc, etc. I would honestly suspect that to be suspect tested and probably banned pretty quickly if it did drop. And RU is being very nice to NU as well in this drop set, or it's probably going to be. All of Gerda, Gastrodon, Smeargle, Trevenant, and Aggron could potentially drop to NU in this one round. I would like to say that Ambipom and Cinccino would be on that list as well, but unfortunately it does not appear to be the case at the moment that people would be willing to drop them. That's unfortunate. Gerda is something that NU is intimately familiar with. It was in NU up until the last month as well. It got quick raised because of Sharpedo, but it will drop down pretty quickly as well. This guy's got a threatening team. I'm wondering how to beat it. Going to start by leading with something that can deal with his lead. I'm going to lead off with Mence, in all honesty. Bad decision, as I can now just go into him Scott as he goes for the Specs secret. Oops, okay, good job, you got me. But that is either Ice or Fire, I don't know which. So, Ice, I believe. Earthquake on the... I'm stupid. This is Moxie. This is bad. My room's got his dead, pretty much. Going for rocks on his bounce. Lovely. Ah, nice. 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 As he misses. That's pretty good for me. Ice Shot now kills him. And anyway, Gerda was in NU up until the Sharpedo suspect test when it got raised because it could, of course, priority kill the speed boosting Sharpedo. But it'll have very similar effects in the metagame that it had previously. It'll just be generally a very good, solid Pokemon with bulk up sets and things like that. It wasn't very used in NU before it rose, but it was pretty good regardless. I'm just going to Fire Blast you. I don't even care if Chandelure comes in Specs. Chandelure is not a threat, as he chooses Blissey instead. Blissey was a smart choice on his part. As if he wishes, I'm in trouble, but I can close combat the Fortress, I believe. As he chooses the Thunderwave instead. He's gonna Thunderwave again, he's not even gonna switch out. So yes, the more interesting, what? Okay. The more interesting possibilities come when you consider things like Gastrodon, Smeargle, and Trevenant dropping, as well as Aggron, because I completely did not just glaze over the Aggron note that I had wrote down before I started this recording. Gastrodon offers something that UU hasn't really had in a while, which is a very bulky water with recovery that will be very, very useful in that metagame. It will, of course, have the toxic weakness, but it's already got that. And it will, of course, mean that grass types will probably get more popular to deal with it, or at least grass coverage moves on things that would otherwise not like trying to take it on. This Gantman is so going for U-turn here. It's not U-turn, wall switch, but we die. So, kind of roll. Go into his Absol, as he does. As we can go out into Salamence. Drop a Draco. And I suspect Gastrodon, if it does drop, will be, which I'm expecting it to, will become a pretty big staple of the never used metagame. Smeargle is something I'm really looking forward to dropping, in all honesty. I'm enjoying the possibility of that did not take it very well, USD, but you're going to knock off or sucker or what? Kill not much of it. Yay! So we can now just go up into Kazam. Try and get the -1 in attack from the Intimidate. And Smeargle dropping means that, of course, Sticky Web will become better. But I'm interested in the potential for a, not support set. I'm interested in an actual sweeper set. As in to say, I'm interested in a potential belly drum extreme speed sweeper. Damn, we've lost. Unfortunate, 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 unfortunate. Gonna go for Poison Jab just in case he doesn't, just in case he has Ds or something stupid. Nah. I'm not particularly good at UU, by the way. Yes, it's not that weak, in all honesty, and it'll take a lot of support, but things like Linoon, I believe, had its extreme speed set banned from NU, or no, I think that was actually PU a while back, but it's going to be pretty potent, especially given that it can use things like Sacred Fire, Earthquake, Bolt Strike, good powerful coverage moves with no cost, and I think that it'll be very interesting, the potential of that as a actual sweeper set in NU. Of course, Sticky Web is going to get better, and things like Magmortar and other powerful wall breakers like Samurott will also get better, but that's the set I'm most particularly excited about. Trevenant is likely to drop into NU this round as well. Speaking of Sticky Web, by the way, Galvantula, where it will... Got a lot of room to defog on this man. Yes, I was saying, as you just set up Sticky Web. Trevenant to NU will finally give Trevenant a tier where it can be more useful in. Okay, if you want to give me defog, I'll take it. Don't think you should, but I will. Defog, yep. Outplays me again, gonna Fire Blast repeatedly. I am fine with the Salamence going down because it means I can go into my Mammothswine, set rocks up. You are not faster than me, I can always set up rocks. And Trevenant to NU will mean that it has a good place to use its choice band sets. It's got decent bulk for that tier, and it'll be generally pretty powerful. It won't be broken in any way, but it'll be much better fit, my apologies, for that tier, offering spin blocking as well as things like Horn Leech, and it might actually become very popular in order to deal with Gastrodon, another potential, another drop that will probably be happening next month. I mean, anything is potentially going to drop next month. It's just very, very, very likely that Gastrodon will drop, and very, very unlikely that something like Meloetta would drop, for example. Trevenant is not something I'm particularly excited over using, although it will be better with the sticky web support. Aggron is something I'm excited using in the fact that it is essentially a faster Steelix with a worse typing. And I'm excited to use it in terms of its defensive potential more than anything else. That crit killed. Without the crit it didn't kill. We can go into Cobalion here. I believe he'll sack off his Galvantula here. I'm so certain that's what he's going to do. But I'm not going to risk it. He actually chooses just a hard switch into his Noivern, which I disagree with completely, but oh well. Whimsicott is fine, and then I can just fire off a Big Blast. But Aggron, Choice Banded Head Smash will be fun to play with. Choice Banded Heavy Slam will also be fun to play with. He predicts me nicely, goes for Hurricane, but misses unfortunately. We're just going to Stun Spore him first, and if he gets paralyzed or misses this turn, he does not miss this turn. We are just now going to go out into Cobalion and frankly SD up and win, I believe. He's got to hit a Hurricane through Confusion, not Confusion, but Paralysis, and now we kind of win. Goes out into Politoed. Doesn't seem to realize that Politoed doesn't have its hidden ability in this tier. What? Bull. I don't believe I died to a Scold. I died to a Scold. I definitely died to a Scold. I believe I've got to go for the fact that I don't. As he chooses to sack off his Galvantula, meaning that SD there was the play. Because now close combat will do a lot. You don't Mega Evolve until after I hit close combat, so... Fuck. Fair enough. Disagree, but fair enough. I don't like Protect Swampert at all. Going to go for Protect of my own and try and stall him out of rain turns, I guess. Not got another play. And then I've got to... Well, I don't win this, so it doesn't matter. Because he knocks us out and I can't knock him out, so yep. The other potential drops, which I'm not exactly very qualified to talk about, are Pinsir dropping to PU, Muck dropping to PU, Torterra dropping to PU, and Cacturn dropping to PU. Pinsir I'm just going to talk about very briefly. I believe it will be a decent choice in the PU metagame, offering a suicide lead, as well as generally good choice Scarf sets with Moxie, similar to what Heracross has used as occasionally, more in previous tiers, but previous generations, but oh well. Muck, sure, it's dropping apparently. Don't really know how much of an impact it would have, unfortunately, on PU metagame. I do not play PU as much as other people would. Torterra, PU had Torterra recently. I say recently in the fact that I had to go around correcting some analysis of it on the site that mentioned it in PU. So it will largely just reaffirm its previous role there as a very good Stealth Rock setter, as well as potential sweeper with the Double Down set that it uses occasionally in NU. And Cacturn is a generally good mixed wall breaker with a water immunity, so that it can come in things like Simipour, Scald, and then switch immediately out because it fears the Ice Beams. So yep, that's the tiering update that will happen next month, or a summary of it at least. I hope you enjoyed, and I do thank you for sticking through the 39 minutes of this video that it took. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.